What's up, y'all? Erebus here. Welcome back to some more DSR PvP. So I promised to show off the build for this character when I was done with it. I am done with it. So it is a soul level 90 invader build. She's got 25 vitality. You can pause and read the rest because I don't think it's going to be up here for too long. Important bits, 25 dex, 44 int. Good stuff. So I've got a decent amount of health. Not a lot, but enough. And so I think I explained this in the last video, but spell-wise, we've got Chameleon, we've got Homing Crystal Soul Mass, we've got Soul Spear, Homing Crystal Soul Spear, and Dark Bead. And I don't remember if I said Chameleon or not, so throw that in there too for funsies. But damage-wise, this is quite possibly a one-shot build, depending on what you're encountering. So that's about 1,000 damage. Some of that missed, so it actually would have been more than that. But yeah, so I mean, this can easily do, I think it's around 1,100 typically, if somebody gets hit with the Crystal Soul Mass and the Crystal Soul Spears at the same time. So it can be a one-shot build for Phantoms. A fair amount of hosts will survive it, but it still does a ton of damage. I've also got the Dark Hand for parries here. Good old Greatsword. I do have a Dark Silver Tracer on the offhand. Was trying to do some swaps over to that for riposts, and also just to have a bit different of an option in case I wanted it. I ended up not using it very often, but it's on there. There's weight allocation. Armor is pretty much just the best that I could wear while still mid-rolling. This is a mid-roll build. So I got the Crown of Dusk, the Crystal Armor, Havel Gauntlets, and the Channeler's Leggings. Took me not actually 24 endurance to get to that and still mid-roll. I think it was more like 19. Then I added a bit more endurance for stamina purposes rather than equip load, since they're the same stat in this game. I also do have Crown of the Dark Sun, since Crown of Dusk makes you take additional magic damage, so I have the Dark Sun to switch to in case I'm fighting a mage. That way I still have some boosted magic without losing a shit ton of health. I also have 51 poise on this build with that armor setup, which is pretty great. Fappering, of course, Bellowing Dragon Crest for some added spell damage. Got the Hornet Ring to switch to after parries, or if I think I'm going to go for a parry. And then I have the Orange Shard Ring in there because I do invade at Lost Izalith a fair amount. Sometimes I have to run through the lava. So just have it on hand. So let's get into some good fights here. This was a frightening thing to load into. Being sandwiched on the bridge with how easy backstabs are in this game. But luckily I got this guy to back off because he was scared and took him out. So turn that very frightening bridge scenario into a pretty unthreatening 1v1. This chief rolled some of that magic damage, but got caught with some of it. So I decided to outspace him with the Greatsword there. He goes for the heal, I punish him with the Soul Spear. Having range as an option is fantastic. And there, the Homing Crystal Soul Mass was too much for him. GG. Alright, so here we're invading in the Painted World, which is an area that I like quite a bit for invading. Here this Phantom's got no chance, just one shot instantly. And now I'm going to chase this host. Now, this is going to get a bit different. He's going to run out here to get away from the enemies, and now we're in a cramped, confined space. Spells are a bad call. So I get him with the sword. He goes for the R1 spam, so I go ahead and get the parry. And that's all there is to it. GG. So the beauty of this build is its versatility, because with the amount of poise and health that I have, I can just go toe-to-toe with someone in a melee format. But in addition to that, because of the spells and how high my intelligence is, I can also, blast people from a distance. And it does a ton of damage. So, now this guy's got a similar thing going on with having melee and range. He knocked me off the little branch there, and I don't actually know how to get back up that way. There is a way somewhere by going down, but I don't know where it is. I get lost in here because I don't come down here hardly ever. But he's going to try to cheese me with a bow. So I'm just going to slap him with spells. So this is a situation when the range is excessively helpful. Look at that. 1,000 damage from the Soul Spear alone. And here I was looking to see if I had any purple moss clumps to get rid of the poison, which I don't. So I'll just deal with the poison, that's fine. I know that he's going to come closer if I get behind the pillar, and I can one-shot him. There you go, 1,500 damage. Good God. So that's always an option, to just go full spellcast if necessary. There it was necessary because I didn't know how to get to him. But it can also be necessary in certain gank situations, you know, just walk backwards and blast Darkbead or something, which I think I do in one of the clips here. Not this one, but one of them. So here we've just got, you know, Host and his Phantom cruising through. Decided to make this easy on myself. He took that damage through the shield, I think, or he was putting it down. And insta-kill. Trade with this guy. He does about half my health, and I one-shot him. Magic is very powerful when used appropriately. And we got a Kirk chap here. Hello, Kirk. So now here I was wanting to go for some melee stuff because the pure sorcery gets a bit old because it one-shots people so much. So I was trying to go for a bit of melee. This guy's not having it though. He's just walking around shielding, not actually attacking. Not doing anything that I can punish. So I just go over to the Darkbead and let him take that. He tried to parry it. So I guess he was going to fight eventually because he was going to try to parry me when I R1'd, but he seemed like he was just blocking without end, so I went for Darkbead. Darkbead is amazing against turtles and groups because it breaks guards really easily. It's got a wide range and it does a lot of damage. And this, now, the Battlemage build is not optimized for toggle escape tech. The Battlemage build is not optimized for Darkbead because Darkbead has a peculiar property about it that I mentioned last time, in that it scales with intelligence, but it also scales with your physical damage stats, strength and dex. Because dark magic has physical weight, so it scales partially from that as well. And my strength is very low. I forget what it is. Whatever the base requirement is for the Moonlight Greatsword, I think it's like 16 or 18, one of the two. And my dex is only 25, which is not much in terms of, you know, scaling. So you could get a lot more damage out of Darkbead if you were to, say, sacrifice the poise and the carry weight on this build and pump that all into a physical damage stat instead. So, just as an FYI, I use Darkbead on this build, but the build's not optimized for it. The Battlemage is built more for Crystal Soul Mass, Soul Spear, parries, and trades with the Greatsword, which I cannot trade with a two-handed curved sword. So instead, I'll go two-handed myself. And that's much better. And what a finish. What a finish. GG to that chap. I mean, GG to everyone, you know, in the video, as always. But that guy, that was a fun fight. Came right down to the very wire on that. This one actually doesn't highlight anything about the build. I just thought it was fun. And it was with this character, so why not? Miss Parry, backstab him off a ledge. Classic. Do-doom. Oh, but yeah, it's a great build. I enjoy it quite a bit. And by the way, feel free, because a couple people have asked me about the build, or you know, have mentioned that they wanted to see it finished. Since the last video, it wasn't done yet. By all means, feel free to rip off the build as much as you like. I don't care about shit like that. I'm sure I'm not the first person to, you know, make such a build anyway. So, you know. Doesn't bother me if you copy it. I really don't mind at all. In fact, that'd be really cool. if I had some kind of influence like that. So by all means, if you want to try it out, go for it. Let's talk about the stats, because some people are going to drop out of the video. Well, some people probably already have, but more people will as it goes on. YouTube doesn't often like long videos, so some people will drop off. I want to get something out before people leave. So give me another 30 seconds, people, if you're getting ready to click out. But one thing about the stats is they are variable, for sure. So this is a soul level 90. You could easily make this build at, more of like a 70 range and just cut a little bit of stamina and some of the dex and so forth. You also don't have to use the Moonlight Greatsword. I wanted to, but you could also use something like the Moonlight Butterfly Horn, which scales off int, and it has lower requirements. You could also just, use Enchanted Infusing on whatever weapon that you like with low stat requirements, and you can sacrifice some strength and or dex and some of the stamina, because like I said, some of the stamina is for the weight, but some of it's just to have more stamina. So I think you could take about 5-6 points out of stamina alone and be fine. So you could do it lower. This build could also use more vitality, more carry weight to potentially fast roll, and more dex is always good for casting speed and also the damage on dark bead. So you could take this build up to a more meta range, like 120 or 150 or something. So it's very malleable. It's not going to work at super low levels like this. You can have aspects of the build at low levels, but the full thing is not gonna happen. But it's relatively malleable, so I think probably anywhere between 70 and 150 you could replicate it. I just chose 90 because I was getting a good amount of invasions in a lot of the places that I like at 90. Whereas I figured if I went up much higher, I would be pretty much limited to the Ulasil Township, where everybody ganks at, and spawn camps, which I didn't want. I wanted a bit more variability than that. So, and I didn't want to go lower than 90 because with the order in which I did stats, I really couldn't have sacrificed anything specifically with what I wanted to use. So, anyway, that was more than 30 seconds. I'm sorry. But so people that were going to click away, that's about the stats in case you want to do the build. You can go now if you want. Of course, I'd prefer you to stay, but if you need to go, or whatever you want to, go for it. I don't think I have anything of vital importance left to say. It's just going to be, spitballing and talking about the fights. But I love this build. It's my favorite build that I've made in DSR thus far. And I know I haven't showcased too many of them, but I have probably 6, I think. 5 or 6 different characters with different builds on each one, because I don't like repeating myself. And, they're all fun, but this is my favorite because it's just so versatile, is what I enjoy about it. If I'm in a really bad situation, I have the spells to just destroy people. And if I want to have more of a good time and just melee and draw it out, I could do that. And having that kind of versatility is really cool, and I really like it. So the balance of spells and melee is just perfect for me. So if you're like me and you enjoy, a bit of both, give this build a try. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, this is a good build if you enjoy variety and doing different things, because if you use this build or a variant of it, if you take out the melee and just use spellcasting, you're just going to one-shot everybody. It's going to get old pretty quick. So, it's not the best build to just want to win with all the time. It's better to just have fun with, but, you do you. I prefer to have fun, so a lot of times I like to go in melee just to do it, because it's a bit more engaging and justifies the loading screens a bit better than one-shotting someone with Soul Mass and Soul Spear, or spamming Dark Bead. But, like I said, you do you if you disagree. I love, additionally, the R2 on that Moonlight Greatsword. That R2 is so much fun. And It doesn't do a ton of damage, but it does enough. It does enough for like a last hit if somebody's trying to run away from you. It does a pretty good amount. And in that case, I think that guy was already dead before I hit him with that. But it is a good like finisher if somebody's trying to run away from you, especially because it's a bit quicker, I think, than some of the spells. At least with my level of dex, it is. So that's a good time. This guy, I feel bad. I don't know if he was paying it. Oh no, he picked a shield up right away. Okay. I was thinking I didn't know if he was paying attention. Of course, this is scary at this point here after he heals. The lag gets real. Start taking mystery damage. So I'm going to back off to heal. Let him just keep R1ing. Luckily, he decides to go for Pyro so I can hide. And see, this is a situation where I win in melee, but now I want to just finish him with magic because I don't want to deal with that lag. The lag is scary, and I don't want to deal with it. So I'll just use the spells instead, make quick work, and get into the next one. And I could try meleeing in that one. This was a weird one. Invaded this guy with his Phantom. Phantom disappeared. And I don't even think that was the same Phantom. So I think there were two and they both disappeared. I could be crazy, but I thought that the name did not match on the Phantom. I can't see when I'm recording commentary because the screen's too small. But I thought he had two Phantoms that disappeared at the same time. Could be wrong. Either way, it was kind of funky. So I'm just going to fight this guy. He's doing some backstep shenanigans, which I have no patience for. Going to backstab that Estus attempt, and then he is going to book it. So I'm going to go for that sweet, sweet R2 and give it right to him. Love that R2. It doesn't have a ton of uses necessarily because it goes straight and it doesn't track very well. But if somebody's running away from you, or you can predict well enough where they're going that you can free aim it, it's a lot of fun to hit people with. I mean, similar to the Moonlight Greatsword or Greatsword of Judgment or something in DS3. Same principle, but I just haven't really done it before. So it's a lot of fun here. Sadly, it is a pretty big durability cost, but with all these invasions you'll be winning, you will have plenty of souls for repairs. This poor chap makes a terrible decision here with running away. That plunge it still gives me conniptions to see it. Anyway, it was a lot of fun getting the footage for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll probably do more invasions with her in the future, but this is the official whatever build video, so you can see the stats and everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, if you so choose. And as always, have a wonderful, wonderful day. See y'all next time.